Hey, I'm back on MGF Extra and it hasn't been like 2 months. What do you know? Yeah, last week, first Avengers Endgame showcase came out and, of course, featuring Captain America and Iron Man in their final suits from the film that I've been working on and off for like only 4 months. And it's just been a really weird year, hasn't it? Feels like I've been talking about those figures for a lifetime. Well, guess what? We're still talking about them because I was actually just shooting the first comparison episode here. I still have to actually shoot the footage for it, but I did the audio because, of course, that series is making its comeback because this year, other figures that I made, like Spider-Man, PS4, Arthur Morgan, couldn't do that series for figures that LEGO hadn't actually made yet and will probably never make. I could do it for Spider-Man PS4, but that was a Comic-Con exclusive, so technically I really still couldn't. Anyway, so other things that have been happening now that the first showcase is out, and by the way, it was a lot of recording and editing. It was like at least 3 days of work, nonstop pretty much. But seriously though, I mean, Captain America and Iron Man wound up being some of my best figures I have ever made. I mean, I do believe Captain America or Iron Man, I haven't decided which one, but one of these figures is the best figure I have ever made. And I'm really proud of these. And that's the whole objective behind the Avengers Endgame showcases. It's not to make a big showcase, and clearly it was not to make a big showcase to celebrate the movie. It is to make the best customs, what an awkward way to hold them, the best customs I have ever made, or that I can make, or at least try to make, for what will likely be the last time that I get to make them in new suits, like I've been saying a lot. So, all that being said, yeah, showcase is out. 30 minutes. I like 7 minutes of it is like the 6 skits and bloopers and like the intro and the outro, and then like the actual segments of me talking about Cap and Iron Man here. Like I think it was 22 minutes in total by the time I got done cutting all the rambly parts out, which is funny because I'm sure most people watching are probably like, this guy is just rambling. But oh man, was it even worse before I really started ripping that video apart editing wise. But yeah, it was quite a process. I am so glad that these two are now finally done. I'm working on them on and off since May. I'm going to try to speed things up from here. 2019 has just been a really strange year for me personally. And so a result of what's been going on with me has been me not working on figures as much as I really would like to. So whereas I used to work on figures like every day or 2 days, I've been working on figures in 2019 every 3 days to a week sometimes, most times. And that's a big part of why these guys took 4 months to make. And, you know, I also don't want to force myself to work on figures, especially like when I'm really not feeling it. In those moments, I still wouldn't work on figures anyway. It's, you know, especially figures that are as important to me as these two. But yeah, you can probably see in the background here, Black Widow progress has been made, along with Ronin's blank torso still waiting for me to start on it. Now, the good thing about this is this next showcase, I've already pretty much announced, Black Widow and Ronin. These two are not going to be as hard to make, which is exciting because really the main challenges with these two, because there's really no sculpting work for the most part, is the vest on Ronin, his sword, and the bow, and the, what was the other thing? The hood. The hood's a big deal. Once I figure those things out, these two figures here are just 3D elements and paintwork for the most part. And I think if I really try, there's a chance I could get them done this month. I want to have them done by the end of the month. Wouldn't that be cool if I could just get the next showcase out the door already? But I'm going to try. I'm going to try. But yeah, so if you want to see the progress for these two, of course, it always goes up over on Patreon first, where I've been having a lot of fun posting more behind the scenes content and updates than usual, especially with the showcases actually happening now. I have even more content to post when I make the videos beyond just the actual figures and the progress I'm making on them, because, you know, like those intros I did for these two guys, which I was really happy with. I think those enhanced the video a lot. Those went up on Patreon like a week or so, like a week and a half before the video ever came out. You know, just it's really fun to post stuff early over there for those guys. And I'm thinking about reworking the pricing system over on my Patreon. It's something I'm kind of playing around with. I'm going to have some discussions about it with some people. But yeah, so the room is really nice and set up now. This is the main room. This is the room in which I sleep. This is my bedroom, and it's looking awesome. Now, what I love about this is, if you guys have been following me over the years, you've known that I've never been this set up. I mean, yeah, I've had a cool looking bedroom at the previous place we lived in, but not only I've never been into a point where I've had a really sick bedroom set up, and then also a big major room where I operate out here this time, which has been really great, setting this up properly, all of this in these last few months, because I'll finally be ready for a room tour as soon as we get the fan back in the ceiling, because that dropped out. And yeah, because I've done so much moving in my life in the last several years. I mean, we've been here in North Carolina for at least 4 years, I think. So this is the longest we've gone without moving states. But we still have moved twice in North Carolina since 2015. Point is, this is the most set up I've ever been, as I've said in previous vlogs. And I am the closest now, sorry for the motion sensor out there, I am the closest to being able to do a room tour than I have ever been, which is exciting for me. Because who knows what's going to happen in the next several months. I mean, my life is always all about uncertainty. Anything can change. Might have to move again. Who knows? But I'd like to do a room tour and just kind of have this whole room like kind of captured in time. That being said, no one's collector's room is ever really done. I mean, there are figures that I still want to add to these walls that I'm not going to be getting for quite a while. And different Hot Toys collectibles that are coming out next year. So, I mean, the actual collection is still not at its peak, but the setup for the most part is. And so it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun video. My first time doing a room tour for the most part, like seriously. I used to do them like as a kid, kind of, not really, when I was living in Florida. But other things that have been happening now with the first Endgame showcase out, the first comparison series, or the first comparison episode happening really soon. Something else that happened was the Joker premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and apparently the film is just outstanding. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is probably the best actor alive to play the Joker, and he finally got his high-budget, indie-style, singular film to make with Todd Phillips, and apparently it's just godly and outstanding. I mean, the trailers have certainly allowed us to assume as much, and of course, it's Joaquin Phoenix making the movie that he wanted to make, playing the version of the Joker he wanted to play. This is going to be amazing. I'm just so glad that we're going to have a Joker that continues the Joker's legacy on the big screen without being an insult to Heath Ledger, which is great, because Jared Leto was really done dirty, and that was a shame, because he could have done something really fantastic too, but didn't get the shot. And Joaquin Phoenix's Joker film just sounds incredible, though. I'm really excited because it's not going to be sticking to source material either. So basically, I mean, from what I understand, the movie could care less about the Joker's origins in the comics or his story in the comics, which is exciting. Maybe that's incorrect, but I think the Joker, once we see it this October, it's just going to stand alone as like the perfect Joker film for like years and years to come, if it truly winds up being amazing, and everything that the trailers and this 8-minute standing ovation that happened at the Venice Film Festival have led us to believe. So yeah, I'll be talking about that and this first Endgame showcase and all of that at length on the podcast pretty soon. So this week, the podcast, which we're shooting tomorrow at like 1 p.m. Eastern, rather than having to do it like an hour earlier, I'm going to be going even more in depth on Cap and Iron Man, because even in the showcases, I can't go into everything that I want to. So I'm just going to talk about the figures at length on the podcast, and it's kind of going to be experimental. We're going to see just how long I can actually go discussing the process, because I want to say in the actual showcases, I cover maybe 20 or 30% of what actually goes into these, which is crazy because the video is still 30 minutes long. yeah, I mean, that's what 4 months of working on something, kind of before it starts the squeaking there. That's the whiteboard kind of rubbing on my phone. I bought a Krusty Krab, which was great. That was like the best $40 I've ever spent, because I broke mine from when I was a kid, but it's like the best $20 set that Lego's ever made. That's the 2006 one. Other things that have happened, besides being fully set up with the room now, got Phoenix Custom Scarecrow. You can kind of see him right there. No, there. He's in the back. I posted about it on Instagram. You can see it on his website. Amazing figure. Almost completing my Dark Knight trilogy collection there. However, there were other things I wanted to discuss. I've got to hang up these Black Series figures pretty soon here. I'm just going to throw those probably like there. But yeah, it's been great. I went to storage earlier this summer, and just got all my favorite sets and just pulled them out. The Republic Gunship, all these Clone Wars sets. So many great things that I love from my past that have just been in storage for far too long, and now fully set up and ready for a proper room tour almost. I need to clear up these floors though, and once that's done, room tour time, and I need the ceiling fan back, which would help a lot. Oh yeah. So one thing I want to talk about in a little bit more detail is the UCS Star Destroyer. Now I guess I'll go out here. I might as well. This door closes by itself, so I have to put a little weight there in front of the, right there. You can see that little pink weight. Otherwise, the pops gets trapped in my room. Yeah, so these are the photos, by the way, that I've been posting recently. I just did a version 2 of my MCU Spider-Man exit photo, which turned out better than I was expecting. Like, this is how I wanted it to look originally. I don't know if I have the actual, the original version pulled up. No, I don't. Had like Falcon and like the surviving Avengers kind of looking at Spider-Man, or like with Spider-Man out a window in New York, and it was just as emotional, but I think this one's better, so I reposted that after the Sony Pictures chairman said that the door is closed for the moment. So anyway, yeah, that still sucks. Speaking of Spider-Man, actually, before I forget, yeah, I got the Hot Toys Spider-Man from Avengers Infinity War. I almost forgot to mention this. I haven't picked up a Marvel Hot Toys figure since the Captain America and Hawkeye you might have seen in my room over there, which was like 2012, 2013. So this is really awesome for me, because the reason I got it and I decided to, bite the bullet and put the dent in the wallet to get the Hot Toys Iron Spider was because, I was like, if this is going to be it for Sony's Spider-Man in the MCU, meaning he's leaving the MCU, he's not going to have the Iron Spider suit anymore, most likely, that's going to be his ultimate suit, right? Like, it's not going to get better than that. So I wanted to make sure that because that's my whole rule with Hot Toys figures. I only buy Hot Toys figures that are really close to my heart. So for instance, like last year, I got Anakin and Obi-Wan, because those are two of my favorite characters of all time. Like, I mean, I'm dead serious when I say Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka are my 3 favorite characters of all time in any franchise ever. And then I've been waiting and skipping out on all the Hot Toys figures that have come out for the MCU over the years, waiting for them to get to Endgame, for them to have their ultimate suits, and for them to do Thanos in his armor with the Infinity Gauntlet. Hot Toys finally, after all those years, revealed those this year. I've got all those on pre-order. But the point is, suddenly, with Spider-Man exiting the MCU, this figure quickly became potentially my only chance to get my favorite MCU Spider-Man suit as a Hot Toys collectible. So I was like, oh man, I better grab this guy. Especially before he's no longer available at retail and the price starts skyrocketing, because that's the one thing about Hot Toys figures is once they're gone, man, and they're discontinued, the value starts climbing, and it is pretty crazy. So yeah, I got that, and I keep walking back and forth, but I really should stop. UNSC, sorry, I'm in a Halo mood. I was playing Halo 5 last night with Tay, which is not a good game. But the UCS Star Destroyer was revealed, Lego's new $700 Devastator, and I posted a video about this, quick 2-minute video. All these months with the rumors going around, I thought that thing was going to be $400 to $600. And I was like, cool, man. So once I get the Falcon, the greatest Lego Star Wars set of all time, I will definitely consider going for the Star Destroyer. Because, man, as a kid, I got into Lego Star Wars way after the 2003 Star Destroyer, and I wouldn't have been able to get that Star Destroyer anyway, right? So then I was just kind of like, how amazing is it going to be to have a new UCS Star Destroyer? I've got no room for it, but I'll find a place. Honestly, I probably would have put it under this shelf back here. Point is, they came out with the reveal, and they had a pretty cringy commercial for it, too. And it was like, new Star Destroyer, and by the way, 2 Imperial officers for the minifigs and no interior. And I was like, oh. And it's $700 for like 4,784 pieces, I believe. That comes into a whopping 14 points, yeah, so it was like 14, like 14, like 14, 15 cents per piece, roughly. And that's not good. A lot of people are like, but it has big pieces, big panels, big Technic frame, so it's $700. No, I don't care how big the panels are. I don't care how big the Technic frame is. I don't care about their licensing issues with Disney. That thing should not be $700. If anything, it needed to be anywhere from $500 to $600. I think $550 or $600 would have been a really great place to meet consumers halfway and kind of come in the middle and give still an overpriced, price tag, but just something more reasonable than $700. I was like, wow, that's real. So the next Star Destroyer quickly became a hard pass for me because, like I said in the video, I am still hoping to get the UCS Falcon before it's retired, and it's just not a good deal, that Star Destroyer, because the Falcon is only like 10 or 11 cents per piece, and you get 2,700 something pieces more for only $100 more. I mean, that's not including tax or anything, but those are the basic numbers. And those basic numbers, if anyone is being rational, should scare anyone off. I mean, it's just not okay. The minifigures needed to be better, and it needed to have one little tiny room, some kind of interior, something to warrant an extra $150 that no one should be paying. It's insane. That's just my opinion, and I'll also be talking about that on the MJF podcast tomorrow as well. But again, apologies for the squeaking sounds. I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'm going to go. Again, the next video is going to be a comparison between my custom minifigures and my custom Captain America and Iron Man to Legos, which should be a pretty good video. Pretty soon. That's going to go up today as well, if I can swing it. So a lot happening today, or actually tomorrow, because I'm posting this Saturday. So Sunday is when I'm doing the podcast with Tate, where I go in more depth on the figures and post the comparison video. I'm going to try to get all that done for tomorrow, and it should be really great. And then I'm going to be back to work on Black Widow and Ronin, and it's going to be fun. And I can't actually snap, but I'm pretending like I am. So yeah, that's going to do it. All right, guys. Thanks for still being here on MGF Extra. This is always fun. This is always fun for me to do sometimes. Okay, bye.